normal people become terrified of criminals.
Shots were just fired. Police just came out and told us, and we're headed there right now.
They become terrified of their own government.
We got this from the Hollywood Reporter. We got a couple stories, actually. Melissa Barrera dropped from Scream 7 after social media posts amid Israel-Hamas war. This is really funny. She led both 2022's Scream and the 6th installment released earlier this year. And she basically said it's genocide, it's ethnic cleansing. Gaza is currently being treated like a concentration camp. Spyglass, the company behind the Scream franchise, had no comment, and they gave her the boot. We also got this from SCNR.com. Susan Sarandon dropped by talent agency for anti-Semitic comment. She's getting roasted heavily after she was at a rally and she made a bunch of comments, pro-Palestinian rally. And then I think we have another one here. This one's not as important as the Hollywood celebrities. United Airline pilot removed from service over pro-Hamas posts. So keeping it, I wanted to highlight that in terms of the cancel culture. I don't agree with these people being fired for having bad opinions. I also don't care. I'm not going to come to their defense, and I'm just going to laugh as the door hits their ass on the way out. Because too many of these people absolutely are anti-free speech. Too many of these people in New York, these far-left groups, have been waging a war on free speech. But that being said, I do think we should be careful. And maybe this Melissa Barrera, I don't know what she's all about. Maybe she believes in free speech. So I'm gonna look into them. And if they're in favor of free speech, I'll defend their free speech. If not, sorry. But what we're seeing is, look, the old guard is in free fall.
Yeah.
Hollywood, the actors, they're split where their talent are ideologically at odds with their institutions. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you who's right or who's wrong. We can have a Palestine-Israel discussion later. I'm just pointing out they're starting to fire people. The industry is not doing so well. In the meantime, seems like independent media is just skyrocketing. I mean, a few years ago, if I would have talked about The Sound of Freedom, people would not have believed me. If I would have said there's going to be a new studio, they're going to launch a movie, it's going to defy all expectations, crack into the top of the box office, $200 million?
250.
$250 million. People would be like, what? Dude, you can't beat Hollywood. And now Hollywood's dying. I mean, $1 billion loss for Disney? How you guys doing?
Is Sound of Freedom still in theaters?
It is around the world.
It is throughout the world, but in the U.S., we just had the last day in the theaters. It was last Friday or Thursday.
Yeah.
Anyway, it went for like 127 days in the U.S. theaters.
It's on it's on Amazon.
Yes.
What new releases is like the second one right there.
Yeah, it was in the
Amazing.
top 25 most pre-ordered movies of all time on Apple.
It's amazing. I mean, it is. You can really see a shift in focus, and groups that once had a very tight camaraderie are now splitting apart. There's this poll from Gallup that came out, I think, today, saying that Biden has lost 11 points in support in 1 month among Democrats, among people who would theoretically be completely behind him. So if you can see it shifting in the political discourse, it's obviously happening in the cultural discourse. There's going to be fallout from the fact that people are looking at each other and say, I won't even talk to you. I won't work with you. I cannot be around you if you express these opinions.
That's crazy.
I think the kids, people that just see things for what they are like the diversity for the sake of diversity. It was tried in like 2021 pretty heavily. And then it was obvious that like if you're not casting the best person, regardless of what they look like, you're not making the best movie. I mean, looks are somewhat important, but I think talent seeps through. You see it in the eyeballs. Yeah, the best person for the character, whatever that means. So, and now it's becoming obvious, and it's showing in the budgets. Like Disney just launched the worst Marvel movie of all time.
That's right,
financially, and they did really poor in the movie before that.
Like let's think about this. It's a good point. The Marvels, right? It's the MCU. It's got 3 female leads and a female villain lead. That what was their budget? $300 million, I think. And it hits the opening weekend with 46.1 million, the lowest box office of all time. Now I assume it'll make some money somehow, but I kind of feel like this one's dead in the water. It is crazy to see the behemoth of the MCU decide to get woke and then go broke.
Well, they was it the reviewer, the drunk reviewer, what's his name? Drinking.
I hope his name's
Aussie?
just the drunk reviewer. That's way better.
Yeah.
Australian dude?
Yeah.
The Drunken Aussie movie. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He's a reviewer. I know who I'm talking. Sorry. It doesn't matter.
Chad will figure it out.
He was saying that that Disney was required by contract to make
Critical
this movie.
drinker.
Yeah, critical. Yeah,
Okay.
critical
They
drinker.
were required by contract to make this movie.
Yeah, that they didn't have a choice when they signed an agreement to make this movie a
Yep.
long time ago, and they tried to wiggle out and they tried to get out, and they were forced basically through their contracts to finish it out. And he's like, and it shows. There's no passion.
Oh, it's the shortest movie they've done. People were mentioning that it really looked like they were just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, because they had to make it. They signed the agreements a long time
You know
ago.
what I think happened? I think this is maybe like 8 years ago. Man, it's been that long. Like when they were doing Avengers Infinity War, they needed to get Brie Larson in it because they were like, Captain Marvel will be the new Iron Man.
Yeah, and so she signed a deal for so many films.
And then she appears in a bunch of commercials. Everyone despises her. She's snooty. She's mean. She goes on social media and she posts this really awful, nasty stuff. And then they're just like, we need to get rid of her. And she's cost them so much money. Here's the funny thing. Cancel culture, right? They're firing these actors and actresses. And you know why they're doing it? Because they're like, we are going to lose so much money because this woman went on Twitter and started calling Israel genociders and all this stuff. Again, not here to make an argument about Israel Palestine. They're looking at how much money they're going to lose because of it, and I get it. And that's a tough issue. But understand this. So it was just the other day, and we had Danny Polishchuk on. He made the excellent joke of, as soon as Elon Musk bought Twitter, everybody just went, there are two genders. but hold on, like, it's funny because if you really think about it, isn't it absolutely insane that before Elon acquired Twitter, if you said men are not women, you would get banned? No question. Megan Murphy, she's a writer and an activist. She tweeted, men aren't women, though. She didn't insult anybody. They banned her. For 4 years, she was banned until finally, I think it was because of Elon Musk, she gets brought back. We actually lived in that world where you could not go on a major social media platform and say boys are boys and girls are girls. But now, where are we? Well, what was happening back then is companies were genuinely terrified. Dave Rubin had...
I don't think Sound of Freedom would have been as successful as I don't think it would have hit escape velocity without Twitter.
They would have suspended you guys in 2 seconds. They would have made up a reason.
We could have brute forced ourselves maybe to 80 million just through marketing. But the amount that it takes to get up to 250 million requires you to hit escape velocity. And without Twitter was the only social platform where we were trending #1 after it launched over and over and over again. All the rest of them, it's just not there.
Did you have a plan for Twitter when you were launching? Like, did you go in knowing that Twitter was going to be a resource, or was that organic?
We actually, that is why we got into advertising on Twitter, is because now Elon owned Twitter, and we were like, we can actually trust they're not going to mess with this.
We could see
movement.
when we were advertising the Sound of Freedom trailer, because of our advertising career, like the number for the views and the number of shares that the videos got and the amount of activity, it just didn't match. Like nobody would comment, nobody would like, but they were being shared like crazy.
So you post your video, people resharing it like extremely high rate, super viral trailer on Facebook. The second generation shares have no comments. You can just go through.
They're fake.
So the first one, no, they're sharing. Everybody's sharing it, but they're sharing it into the void.
Right.
They think I'm just sharing the video. I'm excited I shared it, and then no one sees it.
Right.
No one comments on it. And so the reshares, the second generation, is where the trick happens on these other social platforms. Is you post it and a whole bunch of people reshare it, and you go, oh, my video's doing really well. But then you go dig into the reshares and they're not getting comments. They're not getting any engagement.
They die.
I think that Facebook should alter their advertising scheme so that if you share an advertised post, it's still going to get advertising pressure on your reshare.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. Reshare should be promoted.
So with X, I think let me go back in time actually. I knew these guys that were investigating advertising systems on big tech companies, and they were saying at least half of all of the buys you purchases are fake. When you say I'm going to put $1,000 in ads towards this video, and then you get, let's say, 100,000 views, 50,000 are fake, fabricated. And so what Elon Musk is
bots.
They're just bots.
Yeah.
And so this is great for the
that
big
makes
tech
sense
companies.
with the performance before.
Exactly. But here's what happens.
Because it was awful performance. You couldn't. It was like brand marketing on Twitter. That was the only way to do it.
But then Elon Musk changes everything. And he says you have to. It's all ads are only going to appear on verified accounts. Only count against verified user views. Smartest thing, and no one really talks about it.
It's working.
What Elon Musk was saying to these advertisers is, listen, if you spend $100,000 on that platform, how do you know you're getting real people? With us on Twitter, users only get ads. Ads only display against verified accounts.
So smart.
And so the money is only the money is only spent if verified individuals with check marks see the ad. So now, when you spend $1,000 and you get 10,000 views, oh, it's so much less. So what? It's real people. You'll see your conversions go up.
Yep.
That's huge. Yep. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.